Today, we're going to catch up on the news that happened this past week with some moves were made, some surprises, I'd say. Uh, Starting with Chus's favorite team and my least favorite team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Brought in a new guy. That was Chus clapping for the people who aren't on YouTube.
Yeah, I started clapping because Josh hates the Steelers, so I have to applaud them even more.
That
It makes me it reminds me of I know this kid. He goes up to school up in Massachusetts or somewhere in that area. And he is he's a Steelers fan, and they're all Patriots fans up there, and they all
really
hate him, but he loves the hate. So
because he's a Steelers fan.
yeah.
Well, Allen Robinson from the LA Rams. Rams needed to clean some cap space up. So they went ahead and traded Robinson over to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Rams got a seventh round pick, pick 234. And the Steelers got a seventh round pick, which is pick 251, and Allen Robinson. And then as far as payment goes, the Rams still owe Allen Robinson 10.5 million, whereas the Steelers will only be paying Robinson $5 million this season. I have my opinions about the trade. What do you think about the trade? Is this a good move for the Steelers?
I think it's beneficial. I mean, I'm not real sure about the player himself, Allen Robinson, just because he hasn't shown a whole lot in LA. I mean, he did really well in Chicago. He had times where he was very good. But in LA, he kind of at times seemed like he wasn't producing to that maximum capacity that he possibly could have. For him to come to the Steelers, I think is a good move on our part. But the reason I think it's a good move is just because we didn't give a whole lot up for him. We're not taking a lot of his contract. Not only did we only give up a seventh round pick for him, but we also got another seventh round pick in return and the player. And they're also retaining a decent bit of the salary. So in a way, I think we really won out on that trade, because even if Allen Robinson's a bust, it's not like it costed us a third round pick or something like that. It wasn't like it was something unbelievably bad or we lost a player from it or something along those lines. You're taking a risk, and he is 29 and he could be really good or he could just be mid. But I think adding that, a little bit more of an experienced guy into the mix on top of Deontay Johnson and stuff. I mean, Deontay Johnson's a little younger um, than Robinson, but I think adding a 29-year-old guy can help even Pickens or some of these other fourth, fifth, and sixth string wide receivers coming in. So I think it's a good trade. I mean, I don't know about the player yet, but just because of his stat line, but I don't think it's a bad trade. I think Omar Khan knows what he's doing. I think let him cook.
Yeah, so I like this trade for the Steelers. I hate it for the Rams. I don't know what the Rams are doing other than they're desperate to clear cap space. I mean, they still owe 10.5 million. They're paying more for a guy who's not even on their team anymore than you guys are paying for him to be on your team and play. Like you said, that locker room presence with George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, both being somewhat younger guy. Deontay Johnson is 2019, so he's kind of past that young age. But George Pickens definitely being a guy who hasn't been in the league for a long time now. You've got this guy, Allen Robinson, who was drafted in 2014. He's been in the league for almost a decade, and he has had a couple 1,000-yard seasons. He was definitely a top name for a good while there, especially when he was with the Jaguars and the Bears, as you mentioned. So having a former second round pick on your team for only $5 million and a seventh rounder, where you only drop back 20 spots in the last round, I mean, that's
Yeah,
not going to be a
it's
big deal. You're not losing anything.
Yeah, and like I said, it wasn't like it was a first or a second or any of those top, day one, day two picks. You're talking, oh, excuse me, you're talking last day, last hour of the draft. So I mean, I think it's a great trade, on the Steelers' point. But like I said, as for the player himself, I mean, you're not losing a whole lot. I mean, even if, like I said, even if A-Rob ends up not playing well for the Steelers, you're not losing a whole lot. But if he ends up playing great, you got him for a steal. And plus, like, there's players that like the Steelers are looking to draft in the draft, such as like Parker Washington. There's like players and stuff that they've talked about drafting that are also wide receivers that might actually benefit from having like an Allen Robinson mentor, who, A-Rob might be slowing down a little bit in the next couple of years, or he already is slowing down. We'll wait and see how he plays with the Steelers. But if he slows down a little bit, he might be that really good mentor for those like upcoming wide receivers that they drafted or might have picked up off of, just free agency leftovers or undrafted free agents or whatever.
I mean, yeah, like I said, seventh round, like people are gonna be like, oh, that could be Brock Purdy. Yeah, it could, or it could be some random guy who you're never gonna hear about again. I mean, realistically, you could have traded Stetson Bennett for Allen Robinson, and you guys don't need a
Yeah.
Stetson Bennett. No one, Stetson Bennett might go undrafted, so
Yeah, it's
you're not
not.
you're not losing out. I don't on anything. Maybe like a third string running back or something, but
But even then, like we could really just pick one up off of. I mean,
ex-
Austin Eckler was an undrafted free agent. Look at how good
exactly.
he's doing. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's. I mean, and I'm not saying that happens with everybody, but I mean, like at some case scenarios, you probably have better luck just getting an undrafted free agent anyway than just worrying about
James
drafting like a
Robinson
player.
was undrafted. Adam Thielen undrafted. Austin Eckler, like you mentioned. So there's a lot of big names like you're kind of working with in that area. Like more draft picks is more helpful, but I don't think you lost anything here. I think the Rams lost everything.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean the Rams have been just there's just been something going on. The problem is though is Omar Khan, like the GM that we have currently, he knows how to make deals that benefit his team. And the problem is like if in a situation where the LA Rams, I feel like their head office right now is just in shambles right now, trying to figure out what the heck they're going to do for their team. I think Omar Khan just went and just fleeced it. It's just like, we'll do this, and they're like, deal, just do it.
they're
Let's just do
they're
it.
desperate. They're like, is Sean
Yeah.
McVay retiring? Is Aaron Donald retiring? Is Matthew Stafford retiring? Are we even going to be a franchise anymore? What is going on in LA? Nobody knows. No, well, somebody knows, but we don't know. It's crazy. They won a Super Bowl and then collapsed. That's what happened.
I mean, we were expecting that. Yeah, that's what happens when you buy a Super Bowl.
True. Yeah, Bengals were robbed. um,